to the live show today on Sunday, July 14th, 2024. All right. I was actually headed here earlier and I was going to do the live stream. Then I forgot I had a quick meeting today. That's what delayed me even further today. Can't talk too much. It is still very, very warm in here. Let's make sure I'm alive. Yeah, I'm live. I am live. Live. So I just wanted to do a quick two more streams. Basically, this Sunday and next Sunday. I think after next Sunday, I will begin the process of taking down the set itself. I got 15 concurrent viewers. Cool. So the set will be going down next Sunday, I think, and I'm going to save all the bits and pieces, obviously, the lights and the gear, but I'm going to be trashing the set because there's no room for it where I'm heading. I'm going to move my operations back home to my house. I'm going to build out a studio shed with a little bit of shooting space, editing space, and it'll probably be combined. My editing bay and my live stream place will probably be in the same place. Yeah, that's where I'm going to be heading. I have had this week. I've spent a lot of time tearing down a lot of stuff around here. Moved a huge shelf that I built a long time ago, a 20-foot metal shelf. That's all down. All the wood that I've collected over the years to try to build stuff has all been taken down and donated to my friend Rosie, who got it, who's going to be putting it to use to build some props for a music video and whatever else she feels like doing. So I'm super, super excited about that. I don't know. I've got some lights that I might try to get rid of them and see what happens. How are you? I'm hot. I'm very, very hot. I'm very, very hot. Action figures. Exactly. I am the best of action figures. Truth Mystery says, I wish you the best in luck in the relocation in your digital lair. Yeah, it'll be good. I'm super excited. I'm super excited not to have to pay the outrageous rent that I would have to pay if I stayed here. How long until your new lair is operational? Well, fully operational, we're talking probably like 6 months, maybe longer. Depends on how fast the construction can begin. And first, I did put the down payment on the design. Some noises going on outside. What is that? There's some weird noises next door. Maybe my neighbor's moving in. Sounds like fireworks or bubble. That is weird. Anyhow, other than that, so I paid the down payment to get the design work going. So it'll probably take a couple weeks for us to kind of settle on design. Then it goes to structural engineering to design the structure of how it's going to actually be built. And then it goes to the city, and the city has to go through the permitting process of the city. I've been warned that it could take like 6 weeks at the city to get all the permits in place. So there's all that. And then after that, it will take about, I think it said 8 to 10 weeks for construction. So, I mean, I don't know how many, I didn't do the math there, but 3 months, but everything can be delayed. So who knows? In the meantime, I will be converting my mom's old bedroom into an editing bay. So right now I'm waiting for them, but I have to tear the carpet out because the carpet's nasty. It's been there for like 30 years. I have no idea what's going on next door. It sounds like bubble pop, like they're popping like bubbles or something, or bubble wrap. It's weird. Hey, I won't have to worry about that when I move. Hey, you said you're hot. Did you mean like temperature-wise, or do you feel sexy? I think it's obvious that I'm always sexy, and therefore, it would be redundant to say I'm hot and like meaning that I'm sexy, because it's like I know that. Everyone knows that. The whole world knows that I am super, super hot. But I'm hot as in this is like 90-degree weather, and there's no real air in this place. Another thing I'll be liking about my studio shed, guess what I'm putting into it? Air conditioning. Oh, yeah. Jack Ripper says, hey, it's good to have a sexy attitude. It absolutely is. I am the sexiest of sexiest mofos out there. It's funny. I don't know. So I was chatting with this one girl, and things are going really well. And I thought, like it was vibing really well with this one girl, and then I did this live stream, and this live stream account for comment, you were talking about your hundreds of naked men with pubic hair and all crossing a river, slowly being poisoned to death. And the next day, she's like, I am not ready to date right now, so sorry, I didn't want to waste your time. I'm like, did you watch the live stream and hear me talking about the 100 naked men, pubic hair, and all crossing a river, slowly being poisoned to death? Is that what got you? Is that what turned you off? Because if it did, well, I'm sorry, that's just my humor. It's never gonna work out if you can't take the fact that I said 100 naked men, pubic hair and all, crossing a river, slowly being poisoned to death. She can't handle it. You get me. Sexiest man on the internet. That's right. I've been labeled that. It's on the internet, therefore it must be true. Do I live near Los Angeles? No, I don't. I don't live in Los Angeles, thank God. I don't live in the same county. I live a county over, which is Riverside County. So I live in Riverside County, which I live just north of San Diego County. So it's right. I'm in the between San Diego and I'm halfway between San Diego and like, well, if you drew a line between me and Disneyland and San Diego, it'd be a triangle. Just like any 3 points on a map, if you draw a line between 3 points, you will create a triangle. It sounds crazy expensive. It's cheaper than paying rent here. That's the irony thing, right? The irony is, if I pay, I'll just give you numbers. If I pay $1,500 a month to build out my shed, I will have it paid off in 5 years, and I will own it completely. And here at the office, they're asking for $2,400 in rent per month. So it's going to be a lot cheaper. Count for Comments says, that comment really stuck in your mind. Try watching the TV series. It's a masterpiece of way more memorable scenes. I don't know. I don't know if it's more memorable than 100 naked men, pubic hair and all, crossing a river, slowly being poisoned to death. Yeah, you cannot get that. That was in the pantheon of filmmaker IQ live streams. Will go down in history as one of the moments that people will just remember. Or I'm just me and the 12 people that are on 10 people. We're going down to 10 people. So you are south of Los Angeles. I'm southeast of Los Angeles. If you want to talk about it. If I lived so close to Mexico, I'd probably vacation there a fair amount. Well, I've been to Tijuana once and I was not very impressed. Back in the day, like if you read like old, and I do enjoy reading old. Well, I don't read so much because I can't read. I'm literally illiterate. I'm just kidding. But if you look at old like books about film noir books that take place in the 40s, 50s in Los Angeles, like the film noir, right? Like not Patterson, but what's that one? The guy did like Black Dahlia, and Black Dahlia was a really great book. What's the other one? But in that era, anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. But they always talk about, like, I'm fascinated by the film noir that does take place in California, because classic film noir is Los Angeles based, storylines, and they would always go to Tijuana. Like Mexico was I think probably for them, Tijuana was like their modern day Las Vegas. Like literally just run out to Las Vegas, go have a trip. But back then, going to Tijuana, from LA to Tijuana would have been like a day or a whole day worth of travel. No, not Truman Capote. James Ellroy. Thank you. James Ellroy. Jack knows what I'm talking about. Those James Ellroy books. What was the other one that won the Oscar, actually? All right, now I got to look this stuff up. It had, I can't remember. I'm just going to look it up. James Ellroy books, The Black Dahlia, LA Confidential. Yeah, I didn't read I did audio book for The Black Dahlia. Black Dahlia was like super dark. It's probably the darkest book I've ever had read to me. It's so, oh my gosh, it's so like raw and visceral. the Black Dahlia book. L.A. Confidential, the movie is really good, and the movie feels like you get a more sense of the history of L.A. that it's like there's history like the Pachuco riots. Like we don't talk about that stuff. It's fascinating stuff. Anyhow, yeah, L.A. Black Dahlia has a couple scenes that take place in Tijuana that are fucking. Just lost my monetization. That are just insane, like insane scenes that happen in what you call it in Mexico. Are you Korean? No, I am not. I am Chinese, half Chinese. Can you do a short tour of your studio? Say goodbye. Not really much to see. I mean, it's just a box. It's empty box. I mean, I could maybe next time. Maybe next time when I clean it up. Next week when I clean it up, we can do a little walk. But it's like not much to see. It's literally a warehouse with an office attached to it. Yeah, L.A. Confidential was dope. Absolute cinematic masterpiece, in my opinion. Yep, totally agree. Yeah, Black Dahlia, however, the movie Black Dahlia is a stinker. It's awful. Like it could have. It's so missed the mark. It like had everything going for it. Had a great storyline, had a great actors, beautiful Scarlett Johansson's in it, but a great director. Let's see who directed Black Dahlia. Was it movie? What director? Yeah, it was De Palma, right? De Palma directed it. Amazing score, beautiful cinematography, everything about the movie, all the elements were great, but the movie kind of sucks. It's just not good. It's just like wet fish. It just for some reason just does not work at all. Yeah, De Palma directed it. It stinks. It stinks. It stinks. I love John. What's his name? John. The critic. John Lovitz. There it is. It stinks. Oh, Mia Kirshner was in it? I don't know. Mia Kirshner was in Black Dahlia. Mia Kirshner is in one of my favorite movies of all time. Do you guys know one of my favorite movies of all time that Mia Kirshner was in? This is a deep cut if anybody would know this one. I didn't know she was in Black Dahlia. Mia Kirshner was in one of my favorite movies, which is Not Another Teen Movie. Yeah. I was on a Chinese film kick the other week. I showed my friend who hadn't seen it yet, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which makes like number 6 screening of it for me. I think I've seen it 6 times. Every time I watch it, I get less bothered by the length of the movie. I feel like the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, I loved it. It's a little long. The second time I watched it, I was like, I loved it, but boy, there's a section in there that feels really long. Third time, yeah, it started wearing more on me, the fact that the movie's long. And then the 6th time I watched it, because I'm watching a long time, I'm like, I love the movie. It didn't feel long at all to me this last time I read it. Maybe do the script and editing. L.A. Confidential is solid, polished, and great pace. I think that probably the script was a problem, because I think Black Dahlia, the book, is probably unfilmable, because some of the stuff is so ridiculously dark, like so damn. There's a whole scene in there, and I'm trying to remember it. I should probably listen to it again because it was such an amazing listen. But there's first of all, the book is like 3 chunks, 3 big parts, and the movie only kind of covers like 1.5 parts. It doesn't actually go into this guy's just mental obsession with the Black Dahlia. But he ends up in Tijuana and like a mountain of corpses. And it's like, but it's so weird. Like it is just weird. I should go back and listen to that. I missed the Trump rally. I don't know. Nothing. Nothing particularly weird happened, I guess. Gosh. Trying to avoid that, honestly. I've been just stuck looking at it for like 2 days. And it's like, I like this morning, this morning I was so tired. Like, honestly, I should probably take the day off because, as far as moving is concerned, I'm here. I mean, I don't mind doing this, but like, I should take the day off because all week I was physically moving stuff, like physically demanding in like spa temperatures in this office, like just so hot in here. And I didn't do any like editing work at all. I need this week. I probably need to do some editing. Well, I definitely need to do some editing this week. So it can't all be moving this week. So I'm gonna probably take a. But tomorrow I have to do a live stream for a city, so I have to get all my gear to get together tomorrow to do a tomorrow afternoon show, and then my point was like, oh yeah, then this Saturday thing happened, and I was just like stuck going through Twitter, going through X, and looking at all the people's angles of it and all that, and it's just like this morning I was like, I can't do anything, and it was just I finally like at 2 o'clock I'm like, I need to get up and I want to go do my live stream, and then I got a phone call like, oh yeah, can you be here? When's a good time to meet? I'm like, oh, now's a good time. So I went to go get the meeting, and then I have to edit that project, which is like a celebration of life video. Reason for relocating, it's just, first of all, the only thing I shoot in this location is these live streams. That's the only thing I shoot in my space. Otherwise, it's literally just storage. All I do is store vast amounts of camera equipment and stuff. That's all I do with it. And then when my lease came up and they said they wanted to renegotiate a new lease, it was going to be $500 more a month. And I'm like, ugh, why am I doing this? And these live streams do not make $500. They do not make $2,400 a month, which is how much they wanted me to pay for this place. And I'm like, well, let's just get out of here. So, Jack, a 20-year old Republican, wants to appear. I don't. So his name is not Jack, right? It's Matthew something. And it's interesting. His last name is Crooks. The thing is, though, he's not a Republican. I don't think he's a Republican because the whole thing was he donated to a progressive PAC, and so apparently what they do in Pennsylvania is a lot of times they'll actually register for the opposite party, so that you can vote in that opposite party to kind of sway their primaries. So those picks went hard. Yeah, they 50 Cent like redid his show. Yeah, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Yeah, what a weird name, Crooks. Like, do you think he might have been like, well, thank you for applying to Allstate commercial lending, Mr. Crooks. Okay. Yeah, like that guy probably. How do you go through life with a name like Crooks? I've never met any person in my entire life. But then again, I've never met anybody named Crooks. But like, I've never met that many people. But hi, you're working with Crooks. It's like Crooks and Son, plumbing. We get your shit taken care of. Like. Literally, that's like the worst fucking name possible. Oh my gosh. Anyhow. Been on a Howard Hawks marathon. Much more appreciation for that film in that era. That's a good thing to be on a marathon for. I was watching, I started watching the third season of Bridgerton, so I finished the second season of Bridgerton. I think we talked about that last week, right? We talked about my Bridgerton thing. But I'm talking to Jack Ripper, whatever, the details going to come out. Oh, is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. Hectic, weird question. Perhaps too nosy. Don't feel the need to answer. But do you do YouTube full time or do you freelance film work separately? I do YouTube as a hobby at this point because the YouTube algorithm pays so damn little. Like it's weird because I was getting like $400 a month, and I don't know, I could probably say it. But like I was getting $400 a month for a while, and then all of a sudden it just dropped to like $150, and I'm like, Whoa. Now, $400 a month is not enough to pay for anything, but 150 is even less of not enough to pay for anything. So YouTube is definitely not my full-time career. Would I like to do more live streaming? I'm hoping. I do like watch a lot of live streamers, so I do maybe think it's one of those things where you do what you watch. So if I have more time and I'm doing it out of my house, maybe I'll do more live streaming. I think it's kind of be kind of fun. I think just more as a voice in the community rather than like a guru, I guess. I don't know. We can call me whatever you want to call me. But I wouldn't mind doing more live streaming. I don't think it'll ever be a full time career because it just does not pay very well, and I'm too much of a niche category. Like if I actually made mainstream time, I could actually make it a career. But for filmmaking, that's way too niche. Especially now because filmmaking is dead and all you guys are going AI and all that. Anyhow, I know people with the name My Cock. Well, that's just wonderful. Did they happen to cross a river naked, pubic hair and all, hundreds of them? By the way, I'm a long-time viewer. Learned from you your content about 10 years back when I was a kid. Now I'm a full-time editor, so thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, that's like back then. YouTube was more fun, and YouTube like supported creators, and YouTube like they used to think, my good example is YouTube Space, right? They used to have this place called YouTube Space in LA, which was literally a bunch of different. And if you watch the police video, the one I did of the police station video, like we utilized one of their sets. We tried to utilize their sets whenever possible, and they used to be open to like YouTubers to come and edit and come and and it was a loss leader obviously because they were losing money on it. Well, you know, COVID. I mean, it was already kind of winding down, but when COVID came down, Google just shut it down, and there was no longer any access to it. I think they gave it to the Young Turks. So I think the Young Turks are now permanent installation in that studio. So Young Turks made a deal with them to be in there all the time or something like that. So I don't know. What do you think people will do since social media is dying as a valid source of income? I don't know if social media is dying. I don't know. It seems like social media is more loud, more lively than ever. I don't know. Like I feel, there's obviously there's the influencer culture because I still think social media is still viable. It's just I think filmmaking is probably as a niche is probably dying. I hate to say it, even though it's my niche, but I feel like there was a time in the early 2000s. I feel like it was the height of independent filmmaking. I feel like the early 2000s, 1990s, and the 2000s, early 2000s is the height of independent film. So that's when your Kevin Smith came out. That's when Quentin Tarantino came out. That's where a lot of people started. There's a lot of interest in making independent film, right? And the technology was still sort of a barrier of entry, right? So, and I think that's really where Filmmaker IQ started, was through MySpace film forums, and there was an interest in filmmaking. And I think what happened was, as technology became easier and easier and easier to utilize, and as social media came out more and more, that independent filmmaking sort of started to die off. And I think in 2024, I just feel like the filmmaking crowd at this point, I don't want to be too down about it, but I feel like it's a shell of what it was. Right, it just I don't see the excitement in it. Maybe because I'm out of the game, old man, boomer. Like you're out of the game, man. So you're just jealous of the people that are still in the game. I'm like, okay, maybe, but I also feel like the interest is not there. Like the hot thing is not independent film anymore. It's now social media. It's now TikToks. It's short form content. There's a channel that makes these YouTube shorts called Content Machine. And although the shorts are absolutely good and they're fine, I just hate the name, partly because I think I've been conditioned by that one YouTuber that I like, saying like using the word content just sounds so icky. They're a content machine. That's all they do is produce content. I love it when people have names that coincide, like Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff, crooks. What do you think was downfall point when social media took a bad turn? What a good question. I don't know. So the thing is also, you gotta remember, I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer, and I don't have a lot of. I'm not hip with the kids, right? So I've never been hip with the kids. When I try to make a joke on Filmmaker IQ, if I try to insert something funny that's topical, I usually am about 6 months too late. Like, I'm literally way behind everything. And so, by the way, Patrick A. Willems is who I was talking about as far as content. Call things content. So when did like I don't know when social media took a turn for the worse. I don't know if it's entirely bad. Like, I curate my social media presence, and that, like, this was last week. I was very vulnerable in talking about relationships on my Facebook, and somebody started negging me a little bit. Negging, right? So I came on, well, she's not here to defend herself, so maybe you should, like, go easy on her. And I was like, it didn't get nasty, but I was like, I recognize that pattern of behavior. I'm just going to ban you from my social media. It's not because, like, I'm against free speech, but it's like when somebody that comes onto your page and never comments, never likes, or never interacts with you any other way, and then the first thing they do is they start offering negativity. Yeah. Get them out of there. Get them out. Yeah, you're banned. You're blocked. So I do live a sheltered life in the social media. I'm not very social media prowess. I'm not hip with the kids. I don't have a Snapchat. All right. I'm barely go on Instagram now. Yeah, what is this deal? So half of the Instagram models I follow are now AI generated. Yeah, because I go on Instagram and I discover page and like, oh wow, oh wait, that's AI. These AI, this is AI crap. Like, fuck that shit. Anyhow, I'm swearing up a storm today. Have any thoughts on the new Ford film by the Ford Coppola? No thoughts, but it looks interesting. There are over 2,000 operas written, less than 20 being performed. Film narratives media won't be this dominant in 10 years ago. Novels already gone the same way. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. There are 2,000 operas, but 20 of them performed today. That's true. And I think movies will probably... I mean, the thing is, like, I think movies are different in that you don't necessarily... The thing with movies is you don't need to have a large audience to perform it. I was thinking about this the other day when I was talking to somebody about a film festival. It's like, the cool thing about a film festival or a film is I can just take the film and one person will go walk it over to somebody else and show it to somebody else. Whereas an opera would have to get like a whole orchestra together. I have to get singers. There's a lot of stuff I need to do in order to perform an opera, right? But a film doesn't have that. So film culture can have that. Books are the same way, I'm sure people still read, or audiobooks are still incredibly popular. I am not a boomer. I know, but I like to say I'm a boomer. I saw Longlegs. Everyone's talking about Longlegs. I heard good stuff about Longlegs. Have you ever listened to a radio play? Yes, I've actually produced one radio play in college. And I do enjoy the audiobooks that are kind of like radio plays. Those are pretty good. Snapchat is still a thing? Is it? I don't know. Is it still a thing? I don't know. Sometimes I'll watch on the YouTube Shorts. There's that, I was just bringing it up. There's that girl that does OnlyPans. I like her. She's very sexy. She does OnlyPans. Welcome to my OnlyPans. I hope you're horngry. And she basically cooks up food, makes sex jokes. And she's cute and it's funny and I like it. It's very fun. It's innocent. It's playful. I recently watched Untouchables, and I would like your opinion. I would like your own opinion. Untouchables is okay. I don't love it. It's very De Palma being De Palma and trying to show off a little bit. That famous carriage scene, the buggy carriage scene that goes down the steps. It's hyper violent. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but it's, I'm glad I watched it just so I know I saw it, but it's like, eh. Great films still need great artists. How many talents will strive to work in the industry with little pay, nepo advancement, and subject performance? That's what becomes of opera. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, So I was telling my friends about this one movie, the Duplass brothers in it. I'm trying to name of the movie. It was the one where with Lake House or something like that. Lake House. Um, not Silver Lake. No, it's the one with dang it, Duplass movie House, Lake House. I don't know. I'm so not. My brain's not going to work very well. So it was a Mark Duplass movie. It was the one I love. Okay, and I was telling this couple about it, and this husband and wife, and because it's a movie about relationships and all that, and it's a pretty good movie, I think. I mean, it's classic kind of mumblecore kind of movie, with Elizabeth Moss and Mark Duplass. Ted Danson's in it, and I liked it. And it's like a $4 million movie, so it's a cheapy movie. Could you make that today for less than $4 million? Probably. Like I'm wondering, like, you can make it. You can make these movies so cheap nowadays that I wonder if you can have some real talent come through because it's so darn cheap. It required a lot of work, but the rewards are low. I don't know. Well, I think big Hollywood movie, the rewards are still pretty darn high. Like I don't know. Like I would trade places with some Hollywood executives. One can try to record an opera or a theater unless it's interactive in a way. That's true. Yeah. It's an homage to the Odessa step sequence. Yeah, from Untouchables. You can make a cheap movie, but can you find a distributor to buy it? Well, that's the tricky part too, right? Can you find a distributor to buy it, or can you try to distribute it yourself? And then, I mean, I discovered Tubi, and find out how expensive, how little these movies make. 4 million is still a lifetime. Yeah, 4 million, but like, could you make it for $4 million today? I bet you could make it for. I bet you could make. What was the movie? What's the name of the movie I was talking about? Oh my gosh. I bet you could make that for like less than 4 million. I bet you could make that for. Realistically, if you had to pay. If you had to just rent the place, renting the place would cost you maybe like, I don't know, $10,000. And then if you could get some actors that are willing to just, be a part of it together, I mean, you could do it for next to nothing. If you have, again, it depends on the resources. If you have all the stuff, like all I got to do is hook up with people that own some property that want to make a movie, and I can make a movie. I can make that particular movie. Not to continue to be negative, what do you think of Chinatown? I think Chinatown's a great movie. Just not a big fan of Roman Polanski, but the movie is really good. I'm not your sister, your brother, your mother, your sister. Anyhow. Oh, we got 26 people watching. Wow, that's a lot of people. Well, I don't want to hang out too long, but I want to at least hang out for you guys for an hour. It is already starting to get oppressively hot to me right now. Hey, I'm just tired. I'm super tired. I want to go home. So on the dinner tonight, I've never made spaghetti squash, so I'm going to try to make spaghetti squash. Do you have a physical media collection? I kind of do, but I don't ever watch it. And honestly, I don't care about physical media collection. Have anyone seen Hundreds of Beavers? It was made for $150,000. It's the funniest movie I've ever seen. I've seen it in a decade. Well, there you go. Hundreds of Beavers. Let's put that on the list. I wish I could say I've seen Hundreds of Beavers, but I haven't. Kadam Ching. Hundreds of Beavers. There you go. Select theaters nationwide. Oh, it's the beaver movie. Okay, the beaver. Okay, I see. Yeah, I think I saw a clip of this, like a battle between two beavers. Well, I gotta watch that movie. What about Rosemary's Baby? I don't think I saw I never did see Rosemary's Baby. They don't have Chinatown in China? True fact? Do they have America Town? That'd be cool if there was an America Town in Chinatown and like Beijing. You go Beijing and there's a whole little section that's like America Town. And it's just like hamburgers and French fries. Like instead of ducks in the window, they have like hamburgers or ribs, barbecue ribs. I finally watched Dune 2 the other night. I know, late to the party. I had mixed feelings about it. What were your thoughts on the film? I liked it. So this version of Dune is the one I've actually been able to follow. Like I like the David Lynch version. Like I don't get it. I just don't get it. What's going on here? But like at least with Denis Villeneuve version of it, I actually understood what was going on. It made more sense to me. Like I finally got it, so I enjoyed it. How does porn get financed now? It's not like people buy it. I don't know, but I think people do. Are still willing to pay for it. I don't know where the money comes from. It could. I mean, who knows? It could literally be like some sort of what do you call it? Money laundering scheme. Maybe it's a money laundering scheme. I've seen hundreds of beavers, but remember I was in the Navy for 10 years. I mean, if you're in the Navy, I mean, I don't think it was beavers you're looking at there. Oh, they're off-brand Disneyland in China. We're talking about China still. Off-brand Disneyland. Off-brand Disneyland. I also watched Lord of the Rings and making of movies. I love the trilogy. I love the devotion of film crews during principal photography. There you go. It's been a long time since Lord of the Rings, though. You know, like everyone gets all super excited about. I'm going to be a wet blanket here. You know, like people get really excited about like. Go away, comment. I'm trying to make you go away. All right, people get super excited about like, oh my gosh, the detail that went into this movie. There's so many details. Like, look at this prop. It has the initials of the character. There's so many details, and that's what makes a movie so amazing. Is these details that, you know, and the thing that people forget about is like, well, the reason why there's details is because somebody was responsible for making that prop, and they're like, well, you know, I could just make a stupid prop, or I could just, you know, add a little detail that maybe I will notice, and maybe my boss will notice, right? But like, it's not that big of a stretch of imagination to see that there's all these little details in a movie. It's great. I like it. I love it. I'm not trying to say it's not a good thing that we shouldn't strive for little details. But let's not kid ourselves. When you have like hundreds of people working on a movie, those details are going to happen. It's not like it's, oh my gosh, there's all these details and that's why. No. You know, these details are nice, but. And ultimately, if you didn't love the movie, the details wouldn't matter worth crap. I mean, I'm sure Paul Blart, well, I don't know if Paul Blart Mall Cop has like a lot of details in its props, but you may or may not. Who knows? I definitely want to see that Hunter Beaver movie. I buy secondhand Blu-rays most of the time, making special features and commentary track. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about as far as physical media. Yeah, no, that's cool. I just don't have time to ever watch any of that stuff. Like I watch a movie, and that's it. I gotta get through season 3 of Bridgerton. I'm starting to get a headache from the heat. And I've only been on for like 30 minutes or so. Anyhow, tonight is gonna be spaghetti squash and probably salmon because I have some salmon out, and maybe a little like a rib or two because I made these ribs and I just been picking at them every day. Oh, just looking at my email like, oh yeah, I gotta do the other project too. Oh God. More reason why I should just not like work tonight. I should just relax because this week is gonna be not good. Oh, it's gonna be rough. I just want it to be over. I feel like I'm about halfway through clearing out this space. I mean, maybe I'm more further along. It just looks bad because it's like everything's in tatters. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm exhausted. Filmmaking is not about the tiny details, it's about the big picture. One of my favorite lines from Ed Wood. Same with Chekhov guns. The audience praised the ones they remember. They forgot the many guns that went nowhere. Yep. The Terminator had a favorite making of. Relax and watch Hundreds of Beavers. Well, that's usually my go-to relaxation is watching Hundreds of Beavers. But where can I watch Hundreds of Beavers? Can I see it online or something? Oh, Amazon. Okay, on Apple TV. I can just watch on Apple TV or Amazon. Oh, part of what I was doing for this video was trying to figure out how to Macs work, and my head's not in it, man. I can't figure out how to operate a Mac. I'm just too old. Like, to me, it's like, okay, right click, share as. No, Macs don't have right click. Everything on a Mac is just annoying. Oh my gosh. $5 from Rick H. Good dig for an old man. I know. That's what you get for sporting your Navy history. Amityville Bigfoot was released this month. There you go. Fact. Amityville Bigfoot was released this month. Fact. There we go. What does comment say here? Watch the audience went ridiculously overanalyzed like an English teacher stereotype in a comment section over The Godfather, Soprano. Just get a good laugh. Yeah. I guess so. Back in the day, I remember reading Roger Ebert because I used to be a big old Roger Ebert fan, and then his politics got annoying to me because it's just like, dude only praises movies that are aligned with him politically. And, like he gave like Team America 1 star. Like, dude, 1 star for Team America? Like, come on. At least acknowledge the fact that it is absolutely the best example of puppetry you've ever seen on a movie screen. But anyhow, Roger Ebert used to do these cruises where they would get a bunch of people together and watch a film. They've all probably seen this film before. And what they would do was they would all sit and watch it, and then anybody that wanted to pause the movie, push a button or whatever, they would pause it, and then anybody could sit there and say, well, this scene is very interesting because I notice how, Hugh Jackman's eyebrows curl when he becomes the Wolverine. He really becomes Wolverine in that moment. And just notice that eyebrow twitch. It's an exceptional bit of acting there. And then we resume the movie. And if you think about it, like, how incredibly over the top, like, smell your own farts would that get? Oh my gosh. Anyhow. Jack D. Ripper came from a place where things like a electrical outlet seen in a movie about 1850s is pretty normal. I come from a place where things like an electrical outlet seen in a movie about 1950 was pretty normal. Is that a culture thing, maybe? I think Jack Ripper was kind of just making fun of stuff. Ordinary shots turn to masterpiece of symbolism in their eyes. Oh yeah, that's unfortunately that's how I got into it with the Nerd Writer. That one way back when people used to care about stuff like that on YouTube. Now it's just shorts. Albeit pretty funny shorts, but they're shorts. I had a pretty good short today that I watched. I'll just spoil it for you in case it wasn't from the content machine. Basically, it was a girl and a guy, and the girl's like, hey, let's just put some names with it. Hey, John, how you doing? Oh, hi, Emily, how you doing? You notice anything new about me? No. Oh, come on, you don't notice anything new about me? Nah. Did you get your hair? No. Did you get your eyelashes? No. I don't know. What's for dinner, hon? Babe, I'm now a quadriplegic. And she's in a wheelchair. It's like, I didn't notice. It's becoming of you. So anyhow. Jack, I know. Yeah, he was making fun of stuff. He was making fun of stuff just like those 100 naked men with their pubic hair out and all, and crossing a river slowly dying of poison. That's the kind of humor. That's the kind of humor that I like on this channel. You saw that short? That's a pretty good one. Yeah, that was a funny joke. Hey, isn't that weird? That's the first time somebody's ever like remembered a short, because it's more of a joke, right? That's more of a joke, like a joke that people tell each other. Well, I still remember a few. I guess I think I was shaking my fist at the clouds the other day, complaining about how no one will remember what shorts they ever watched. Well, I remember a couple shorts. So I remember one of the shorts was actually, it wasn't a short. This was a short before shorts were a thing. And it was a little video by Pete Holmes. I like Pete Holmes as far as a comedian. And he was doing this bit. I gotta remember. So what's Pete Holmes' buddies? The red-haired guy. Red-haired, bald comedian. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, because he's got in like so many movies. There's so many little TV shows and all that. It's not Bill Burr. It's not Carrot Top. It's not Google's trying to tell me this thing. There is it. John Reap. Might be John Reap. No, it's not John Reap. He usually he does like videos with Pete Holmes. Pete Holmes. Let's see if it. Matt McCarthy. Maybe that's it. Matt McCarthy. He's an interesting character because he's just not very well known. Yeah, Matt McCarthy is there. So Matt McCarthy and Pete Holmes are in a doctor's office. I love those doctor's sketches. Those are like the best like vaudeville style sketches. Here, I'll just show you a picture of Matt McCarthy. Pull him up here. Go to the screen. So this is Matt McCarthy. Beard, red-haired, kind of balding guy. He's really good. He plays like really good like straight man characters. Anyhow, that's Matt McCarthy. And so what he did was, the doctor and his patient. Doctor says, I got good news and bad news. And the patient's like, well, give me the good news first. And the doctor's like, well, I don't have cancer. Oh, I love that. And the other one is like, doctor and a patient. Doctor's like, do you like baseball? It's like, yeah. Oh, good, because you have Lou Gehrig's disease. And I was like, oh my gosh, those doctors. So that's an example of a short that I do remember. I forgot about, until you described it, I forgot what the joke was, but to be honest, I remember a short where a Muslim shows off his two wives. I think I might have seen that one, but I don't remember that one. All right, so that's an example of a short that can probably, the shorts in that they're like jokes and stuff like that, but those are shorts, I guess. Those are shorts. Those are not TikTok videos. I don't know. What's the deal with those TikTok videos where they're like, it's like a fighting thing and like, dun, 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 poof, poof. It's like, so I saw, it's a format, right? It's like two people standing and they're like, do, 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 and they play the stupid like 8-bit music and then they like pretend to punch and it's like some words come up, I don't know. But it's cringe when your city council member of the city that you reside in does it. And it's like, ew. My cringe detector just went off the charts. Like my butthole just puckered really tight because that was so cringe. Speaking of funny bald gingers, what happened when I missed Louis C.K.'s show? Louis' show was like the spiritual successor of like good Woody Allen movies, but they all go in the same direction. You're talking about the two Muslim wives here. The second one smiles lovely. The contrast, the annoyance of the first wife. That's generally how it goes. You guys ever read Pearl S. Buck's The Good Earth? You ever read that book, The Good Earth? I think it's the name of the book, right? The Good Earth is a historical fiction by Pearl S. Buck, 1931, dramatizes the family of a 20th century Chinese village in Anhui. Well, it's interesting because The Good Earth is about this guy that basically builds his house. And then he gets a second wife. He's like, screw that. I want another wife. Well, he gets a second wife. So he has 2 children. So not a bad book. Did they ever make it a movie? I don't think they ever made a movie. Probably. I think they did, but it's like they didn't make... Oh, the 1937 movie adapted by Paul Mooney and Louis Rayner. Yeah, they probably took out the second wife part. And being the fact that it was starring Paul Mooney as an Asian man, it's probably not going to be... probably got canceled pretty quickly, because I don't think we'd be watching that. I'm kind of curious now. Paul Mooney in The Good Earth. The Good Earth. I want to see if there's a picture. Yeah. Pretty much as you'd expect it. Here, I'll put it on the screen. Why not? You're gonna see it. I don't really get offended by yellow face, but there it is. Paul Mooney, Good Earth, 1937. I mean, it's not that atrociously bad. It's not terrible. I think it'll pass off as... Although, she doesn't really look Chinese. So they didn't really go for Chinese for her. But I'm pretty sure they got rid of the second wife aspect of it. I'm trying to see, who's that? Sidney Frank? That's just the producers. Anyhow. All right, back to me. Back to John. What are your comments here? Carbon arc light or HMI light? Many older directors, photographers think carbon arc is much better. If I have no experience with anything but HMI, so you go with HMI. I think the fact that carbon arc lighting went away probably means that it is not going, it was probably outdated. Now show Judy Garland in blackface. Oh, do you think I want to get canceled? Did you miss something about John's studio? I'm just moving out of my studio, going to a home-based operation here. That's all. So I want to tear all this stuff down and move it home. Home where the heart is, where the hearth is. Oh, man. All right, I want to hang out for 5 more minutes and I'll get going because I'll be on for an hour here. Yeah, so this week I've got editing to do. I've got one project. I've got a live stream tomorrow. One project to edit. I've got to have this celebration of life photo montage done. So I'll probably work on that tonight. Work on it at home. My brain is not fully there. Totally not fully there. Hey, MKL5257 finally caught another stream. Yeah, so I'll be back on Sunday, and then I'll start streaming from home in August. I should be able to have my internet set up at home. I've got to figure out how to run some cables through my house. So I'll be doing a temporary edit bay, so I'll probably be streaming out of there. And yeah. Oh, Sandy Frank, he's the source of all our pain. I have no idea what that is, Rigel. Anyhow, The Acolyte. I have no plan to watch it, but the plot sounds like a kick in the balls to Star Wars faithful and all the Star Wars fans of Hollywood. Why can't they find one that had the story? I don't know what the deal is with The Acolyte. I tell people this. I canceled my Disney Plus because of how She-Hulk treated copyright protection. Like legitimately, that's how much of a terrible nerd that I am. I literally canceled my Disney Plus because She-Hulk did not understand how intellectual property worked. And a TV show pretending to be about She-Hulk attorney at law should know a little bit more about how copyrights work. I'm sorry. Worst episode ever. And I noticed that Itchy struck the same rib twice in succession, yet produces two entirely different tones. I mean, seriously, like, who writes this stuff? Like, come on. Do they think we're just idiots or something? No, I'm serious though. I did actually cancel She-Hulk. I canceled Disney Plus because of She-Hulk. So I'm blissfully unaware of The Acolyte. I'm blissfully unaware of whatever Star Wars nonsense is going on. I haven't seen a single Star Wars project in Rise of the Skywalker. Yep, Rise of the Skywalker was enough for me to swear it off. I've seen a Star Wars project in that I've gone to Disneyland and got on that Rise of the Resistance ride, which is pretty darn good. I'll give you that. That's a pretty good ride. It's very enjoyable. But yeah, Star Wars is... I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know. It feels like Star Wars is dead to me, says Rick. It feels like it's like what happens when you have too much money and not enough, and like, well, we have Star Wars and we have a couple $1 billion. What are we going to do? Let's just, okay. So we're going to need a Star Wars movie we're going to see a Star Wars project every 3 months. Go. And then just pumping crap out. And there's like no inspiration. I don't know. You don't necessarily need inspiration, right? Because you can make stuff. I was watching this thing from Dr. K, the healthy gamer. He's talking about creativity and inspiration. It's like you don't necessarily need to wait for inspiration, but they lost the plot or something's going like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like people that have a axe to grind as far as an ideological bent. I want to make Star Wars gay again. You know, there's not enough gays in Star Wars. So just make everybody gay. Rise of Skywalker is a very enjoyable bad movie for you. Well, there you go. I mean, it's nice seeing George Lucas honored at Cannes, though. Well, I didn't even notice that. But The Acolyte fucked over the prequel lore and is the best thing Lucas did for the films. I don't know what I don't know. Like, at some point, you just don't care. And I'm well beyond that point of not caring. So, anyhow. All right, well, I should really get going so I can make myself some dinner because I'm going to pass out. I haven't had lunch. That's probably why I feel like crap. That's probably why. I had breakfast at like 9 o'clock, but I didn't have lunch. But then again, I didn't really do much all day. I just kind of sat on the floor. So, yeah, I'm going to go make some dinner because screw it. Screw this day. I don't care anymore. This day sucks. Do it live. It sucks. Do it live. So we'll come back next Sunday. We'll have one last bullet silence. Don't forget about Snatch Wars. Bye, John. I'll drop in more often. We'll see you. Oh, Sue, come by next Sunday. We'll do one final stream before I tear this place down and take it down to my house, and we'll do it there from the house. And we'll live stream the progress. We'll talk. I'll post pictures and stuff like that as I get along. So, all right, guys. Well, I shall see you later. I'm hot and I'm hungry. I think that's the problem. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Take care now. Fade to black. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.